If you're fans of basketball and haven't been living under a rock the past few months, there's a pretty good chance you have heard of Rod Wave Elite. With some of the best players in the nation lacing up for various RWE squads across the country for different tournaments, YouTuber Cam Wilder has started a movement and new age of basketball on social media. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the biggest players who have played with Rod Wave Elite this summer, what schools they are committed to or being recruited by, how they played with Rod Wave Elite, and taking a look at some of their best plays. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the channel for weekly interviews and basketball content. Now, just like I said before, Cam has brought in some of the most talented players in all of high school basketball, including Eli Ellis, who has taken over the basketball scene. This summer, Eli played with Rod Wave Elite Dallas squad and did his thing, leading them to a championship. Now, although Eli is a shorter guard in the 2025 class, he makes up for it a lot with his ball handling and shooting abilities. Ellis spent last year in the Overtime Elite League with the City Reapers, playing alongside top 10 picks in the NBA draft, Amen and Asar Thompson, winning a league championship. I've spoken to Eli a few times over Instagram, and he's being heavily recruited as of late, despite his underrated ranking. Eli holds over 15 official offers from schools, including Ole Miss, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Charleston. Eli has also been talking to many schools, including Tennessee, Providence, Vanderbilt, and more. Expect to see Eli a lot more in the next few years as he continues in the OTE League and as his recruitment skyrockets. Next up is Tyran Mason, a 2024 shooting guard who can score the ball well at all three levels. Mason helped lead the Rod Wave Elite Dallas team to the championship with a couple of head taps along the way. Mason is being recruited by low major schools including Oral Roberts, North Texas, Montana State, Denver, and more that have already offered him. When he wasn't with Rod Wave Elite this summer, he was playing for 76ers guard Tyrese Maxey's team, Max Levels Elite. Mason has a high ceiling as a hooper, but I would also be on the lookout for a possible commitment coming in the near future. Last one from the Rod Wave Elite Dallas team is Oklahoma State commit Justin McBride. McBride played for Drive Nation in the EYBL this summer, where he averaged close to 17 points, and will be a freshman with Oklahoma State this season, so one of the older players on that Dallas team. McBride's quickness and agility stands out from other rising freshmen, and I think he will fit really well into the Oklahoma State fast-paced offense. Moving from the Dallas to the New York team, we have 2025 point guard from Penn Charter High School, Jake West. West is a good friend of the show and did his thing with Rod Wave Elite, helping the squad to yet another championship trophy. West is a crafty and scrappy guard who can shoot the ball with quick release and gets downhill really well. Schools including Mississippi State, Lafayette, Fairfield, and Drexel have already offered the rising junior guard, but schools like Providence, UConn, and Florida State have also reached out. Switching from Archbishop Carroll High School to Penn Charter next season will give West even more competition and exposure as he played for Team Final Red this summer. One of the top 2024 players in the state of Georgia, shooting guard Jace Jackson, also suited up for the New York team as an Ole Miss commit. Jackson dunks the ball with power and has a tough bag when it comes to getting to the paint and finishing at the rim. Jackson was definitely one of the most dominant players we saw with Rod Wave Elite this summer, and he will be playing in the OTE League next year. Before choosing Ole Miss, Jackson was originally committed to Texas Tech and held offers from schools including Florida, LSU, and Virginia Tech. Definitely one of the most exciting Rod Wave Elite players to watch, and will also be really fun to watch play in college. Another member of the fully loaded New York team was 2024 point guard Adam Njie. Njie didn't play the entire weekend because he had to leave early for Peach Jam, but he did make a huge impact in the games he did play in, dropping 41 points in one game. At the time of the New York tournament, Njie was committed to the Washington State Cougars, but due to the recent uncertainties of the Pac-12 conference, Njie just recently decommitted and reopened his recruitment. Since his decommitment, Alabama, St. John's, Miami, and Arizona State are just a few schools that have reached out. Njie is a crafty guard who scores all over the floor, gets downhill really well, and thrives when attacking the basket. Last guy from the New York team that we'll be talking about is 6'11", 2023 forward Arop Arop. Arop is obviously huge for his position, but can even play the three really well and is committed to Columbia. Before committing, multiple Ivy League schools and high academic schools offered him, including Harvard, Rice, and Vanderbilt. Arop was an absolute force for Rod Wave Elite, but actually after 4 games in the New York tournament, his coach at Columbia called him and said he could no longer play due to some eligibility concerns. Now, most of the guys we have talked about so far have only played in one tournament for Rod Wave Elite, but Jordan Washington, noticed baby Giannis, has been playing with the team for a long time, despite missing a few tournaments here and there. Washington was a beast in the paint for Rod Wave Elite, but basketball isn't even his main sport. Washington was heavily recruited as a tight end throughout high school and announced his commitment to the Texas Longhorns in July to play football. Schools including Texas A&M and Alabama also offered the 3-star tight end before he committed to play for his home state team. As we move on to the Rod Wave Elite Atlanta series, we got to talk about 2024 shooting guard and Texas Longhorns commit Cam Scott. Scott is ranked a top 5 shooting guard in the country, and before his commitment held offers from schools including UNC, Miami, Alabama, USC, LSU, Tennessee, and many more. Scott was named the South Carolina Boys Basketball Player of the Year this past high school season with the Lexington Wildcats, and also plays travel basketball with Team United. Scott set his high school's all-time scoring record this past year and led the team to their first state semifinal appearance since 2019. Scott is a player to be on the lookout for this upcoming year, as he'll be one of the top seniors in the country. Next up is 2024 shooting guard and NC State commit Trey Parker. Parker played in a few tournaments with Rob Wave Elite this summer and is considered one of the best dunkers in all of high school basketball. Last season, Parker played in the OTE League and will do the same for his senior year. I feel like Trey is extremely underrated when it comes to the rising senior class rankings, and I think all NC State Wolfpack fans and ACC basketball fans should be super excited to get a commitment for one of the flashiest players in the game. We've talked about many guards, but the Atlanta team had one of the best bigs in the entire 2024 class, Somto Cyril. Somto is a freak athlete standing at 6'11" and is currently committed to John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats. Before playing for Rob Wave Elite Atlanta this summer, Somto played in the Overtime Elite League with the Cold Hearts and will join them again for his senior year. He is about as dominant as it gets for a 240-pound center in high school. He dunks the ball with authority, posts up with precision, and stretches the floor out really well when getting out in transition. Somto is definitely a huge pickup for the Wildcats 2024 class, as his Overtime Elite teammate last season, Rob Dillingham, will be a freshman with Kentucky this year. Moving on to the Los Angeles team, we got Gonzaga rising freshman Marcus Adams Jr., who led the team with some crazy dunks, including a head tap on actually his younger brother, Maximo Adams. Adams was heavily recruited by Syracuse, UCLA, Kansas, and actually committed and signed with Kansas at first. After practicing with the Jayhawks for a few weeks, Adams requested release from his letter of intent and joined Mark Few and the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Adam gets to the rim really well as a small forward and will be an NBA prospect with 1 to 3 years of collegiate experience under his belt. Another member of the Los Angeles team was 2024 small forward Zion Sensley, who narrowed his list of offers down to LSU, Hawaii, Alabama, Arizona State, and St. Mary's just last month, and will actually be announcing his commitment this week. Sensley is a human highlight reel with off-the-backboard posters and smooth step-backs from beyond the arc. On3 has his prediction for his commitment set to St. Mary's. For the final tournament of the year in Pennsylvania, Cam formed what he was originally calling an all-time Rob Wave Elite team, bringing back some of the best players we had seen that summer. He announced many former players that would be playing, but after a good amount of them dropping out, he surprised everyone with some of the best players in the nation, one being 2024 point guard Dylan Harper. Harper is ranked the number 1 guard in his rising senior class and attends Don Bosco Prep High School. Harper released his final 5 schools, which included Duke, Kansas, Indiana, Rutgers, and Auburn, but many analysts have him staying home in the state of New Jersey, going to Rutgers, although a final decision has not been announced yet, but could be coming in the near future. Jalil Bethea was another member of the Pennsylvania team and another close friend of the show, being one of the top rising seniors in the state. Bethea attends Archbishop Wood High School and released a top 5 final schools list of Villanova, Syracuse, Miami, Alabama, and Kansas. Although he is a top 5 out right now, rumors have come out that schools such as Duke and Kentucky have also started reaching out. Bethea is a sharpshooting and downhill point guard with NBA ceilings. Another player who joined the Pennsylvania team for the last games of the season is 2024 UNC commit Ian Jackson. Jackson plays with another New York guy in Adam and Njie for Cardinal Hayes High School, who we talked about earlier. Jackson is ranked a top 10 player in the country and the second shooting guard, leading many schools including Kentucky and Arkansas to target him before his commitment. Jackson is an explosive and versatile guard who can guard the 1 through the 3. Last guy we're going to be talking about is one of the most entertaining players I've seen play high school basketball in a while. Tahaad Pettiford is a 2024 6'1" point guard at Hudson Catholic. Pettiford played for the New Heights Lightning and the EYBL this summer alongside top 2023 point guard Elliot Cadeau. Pettiford is one of the highest ranked point guards in his class, and schools such as Kentucky, Kansas, Connecticut, and LSU recruited him before he committed to Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers. I know we talked about many different players today and their recruitment, but to end it off, I got to give a shout out to Cam, obviously, for making this whole series happen, for creating the Raw Wave Elite team, the amount of kids that were showing up to these tournaments, hoping to meet their favorite high school basketball players, and being able to meet their favorite high school basketball players. I think Cam made a really special thing happen this summer with Raw Wave Elite being a team where the best players in the country could all come together, not only put on a show basketball-wise, but also create some great content. I'm really hoping that they will run it back next summer with some of these guys, maybe some new guys. And I've also heard that Cam is going to be forming a girls team next summer, which obviously will be really cool to see some of the best girls, female hoopers in the country coming together playing for, I guess, maybe another Rod Wave Elite type team. But again, shout out to Cam. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Comment down below who your favorite player to watch with Rod Wave Elite this season was. Subscribe to the channel and be sure to like the video as well.